Welcome to Monday Morning Methane. Today I have the privilege of being joined by Asla Corkmaz of OGCI. She's the Low Carbon Program Coordinator. Welcome, Asla.
Hi, Thomas. Thank you so much for having me.
Yeah, really excited to chat about some of the work you've been doing lately. And specifically, that work is the new methane library that's been published by OGCI, which is an incredible resource. I would try to explain it, but you would do a much better job because you've been working in the gory details of it for quite some time now. So, I'm wondering if you could just introduce the methane library and explain a little bit about what it is and why OGCI set it up.
Absolutely. So I think it was a twofold approach. First, it stemmed from us internally acknowledging in OGCI, in OGCI, we're quite diverse in terms of backgrounds. We have engineers, climate scientists, geologists, and then on the other side, you have people like me who are coming from international law background, policy background, people who know energy from a very different point of view compared to what the operators are doing on the ground. We all want to work on climate. We all want to tackle the same issues, but our exit points were quite different. So when it came to it, us understanding it internally, we didn't know where to start gathering the information. I think that was the first thing that between us kind of sparked the conversation. Oh, like there are resources, but what to start with, how to navigate, where to go next, what's basic, what's niche. So it was just like a soup of information that we had that we wanted to see all. But you can't really do that. You need something a bit more curated. And then I think came the Aiming for Zero Methane Initiative. So we have this great initiative where we have 100 plus signatories and supporters. And when we were talking to them, asking them, are you guys missing anything? Like is there anything that you like, tangible that you need? And this came up there as well. Multiple companies independent from each other in a survey, they were mentioning yeah, actually, there's a gap in navigating resources and navigating it well. Then we had OGDC. That brings on a completely new level of diversity in terms of who's where in their methane journey. So you have companies, they're all trying to do methane mitigation. They're all working on it, but they're in different stages, different countries, different regulations, different perspectives. I think the combination of these diversities and the common will to access information, but just not knowing where to start was the main trigger point for us to just jump into it and do it. And then obviously, from a policy point of view, we know what we need. But when you get into the operator point of view, we don't know what operator needs. We don't know what actually the industry is missing when they're looking for an information or what's accessible for them. So I think that kind of like pushed us to, oh, we can do this, but we can't also do it alone. We need both the S&P, like strategy policy team in OGCI, and then OGCI member companies' input on what they think is relevant, what they think should be considered a curation of resources. Then obviously Highwood's help came in very, very handy as well, because that brings in the technical and academic approaches in terms of us being able to sort out what kind of information is relevant. So that's the whole like idea coming together and where we initially kicked off and started. And then eventually that became the methane library that has been launched for a little while now, and being updated continuously as well.
That's wonderful. And just quickly, for anyone who's never even heard of the methane library before, who doesn't spend as much time on LinkedIn as I do, what is it? Is this like a build? Is this like a real building, a real library where you can go to and take out resources, or
I mean, maybe one day, I'm not going to say no to actually holdable, tangible resources as well. But for now, Methane Library is an online curated platform that allows you to easily navigate and access all sorts of methane information, and categorizing it, tagging it in user-friendly way. So wherever you are in your methane journey, you know where to go and what resources are the fundamental ones. What is the policy? What is the regulations that you can be
Hmm.
reading and enjoying and nerding out about?
And it's completely free too, so
It is
anyone can use
completely
it.
free. That is a big
Yeah.
point. It is completely and utterly free.
When you set out to create this methane library, I'm sure you had some kind of vision about what it might look like. Just curious, what now that it's available, now that it's online, people are using it. Did that initial vision match the end result?
Um, Not exactly, and I think that's a very good thing. Because when we started, the idea was the audience is everyone that is interested in methane. Obviously, our idea of everyone is limited. So what we did was to talk to lots of operators from OGDC. They joined into many sessions. Member companies gave us feedback on both the exact kind of resources that they are looking for, that they want to see, but also some navigational input on what makes things user friendly for them. So essentially, we have created this, but we have created this with the exact guidance and input of what the industry needs, what the operator needs, what people from different backgrounds need.
Hmm.
So that came together a little bit different than what we were imagining in the terms of what kind of resources that we would include, because we wouldn't be able to know without having those conversations with OGDC or OGCI members telling us what's exactly missing.
So what are the examples of different resources that are available in the methane library that our listeners could access if they were to visit?
So currently we have 268 resources and count.
Whoa.
Yes. We have a section for fundamentals that is essentially created for people to go in there and just read the basics and everything about methane. We have regulations, frameworks, detection and information on detection and quantification technologies. I think one of the best features is that we're not just leaving the library dormant. We're not just adding information in it and wait for it to expire. This is essentially updated every quarter right now to make sure that anything that is no longer relevant, anything that's expired or updated, it's taken out and renewed. So you only have relevant information in it. You don't have anything that's making it crowded without there being much reason for it to be crowded. And I think that's the best feature of it, alongside with the option to recommend resources. I'm a big
Hmm.
fan of interactive. I mean, not just me. We are all quite a big fan of interactive features, I think. And one of the best features is you can actually go in and tell what you need. So we can go and find it and include it in the library. So it's a living collection.
Have you seen any good recommendations yet, or have they not started to come in?
Well, the good recommendation came in from your team, who was
I didn't
defined
know that, by the way.
yeah, who was defined as the secret weapon at one point. So I'm not sure about the name because I have never talked to that person before. But apparently, you guys have a secret weapon who's very good at researching and spends some time going into Methane Library and seeing what's missing, which is very useful for us.
I have a hunch on who that might be, but I'm not going to name any names.
That's how we have been referring to that person so far. But
That's funny. I'm gonna get to the bottom of that. So, okay, so I mean, now the methane library is available. Obviously, we encourage anyone who's watching this to use it because it's such an amazing resource. What comes next? How are you planning to continue to improve the library?
yeah, I think we're not only recommending people to use it, we're recommending people to interact with it, to tell us what's missing, to tell us, give us any recommendations, any feedback, so we can keep it alive, keep updating it. We're continuing with the continuous updates. So every quarter, it's still changing, it's still staying alive. And hopefully, you're going to see much more relevant resources there as they come in.
Wonderful. Asli, thank you so much for your hard work and leadership on building the methane library, and excited to catch up with you in the coming months to hear how it's going and hear how the users are taking advantage of it. And I personally log in there to check it out from time to time, and have found it to be very valuable. So great job.
Thank you so much for having me.
Great. Have a good one.
Bye, Thomas.